Good evening, everyone. This is BremSter, and today I'm coming to you with a puzzle called Jade Medallion by Sotek. I've kind of deliberately chosen a Sotek puzzle for today because tomorrow is the second or the second birthday, basically, of my channel, and my channel exists in many ways because Sotek helped me with one of my first puzzles. Well, not one of my first puzzles, but a puzzle that I couldn't solve. There'll be a story about that tomorrow, and I wanted to record a solve video of it, mostly for my own reference, but I thought I'd put it up on YouTube, and other people liked it, and it kind of led to what the channel is today. You could see the journey happen if you go back and look at those early videos, and yeah, they're not very good. But anyway, some people think what I do now isn't very good. Okay. Anyway, but I wanted to do a Sotek puzzle, and apparently this is a new Sotek puzzle in order to kind of commemorate that. So that's what I'm doing. So this is Jade Medallion by Sotek. I'm recording this way in advance. So while, as I said, this will come out the day before the second anniversary of my channel, I'm recording this over a week before then. So let's have a look at this puzzle. So this is the killer puzzle, just Killer Sudoku. I keep saying just, but it's only got the Killer Sudoku rules in it, but just means it's somehow less. I actually think these puzzles with one or two constraints in them are actually better than ones that have got lots. Personal opinion, because I think you often have a lot more refinement with those, and you get a lot more. You can find a lot more weird and elegant logic, whereas if you cram too much into a puzzle, then there's lots of ways of getting sort of just weird interactions. And while they can be a lot of fun, and fun is the goal here, I think you get a lot more elegant when you do limit yourself to one or two constraints. But that's beside the point. Let's have a look at this puzzle. Jade Medallion by Sotek. Normal Sudoku rules apply. So in every box, in every row, and in every column, the digits 1 to 9 must be placed without repetition. And then killer. So digits in cages must sum to the number in the top left corner of the cage. Digits may not repeat within cages. So while it might be perfectly fine to put in 2 8s here, no, that would not work. 2 5s here, and then a 1 and a 3, and that would sum to 14. That is absolutely wrong, because you cannot repeat digits within cages. That's the rules. Let's restart the puzzle to restart my timer. Let's give this a shot. So we know an 8 cage must have a 1 in it. Not sure if that's a thing I want to mark at the moment. There's only 2 ways to make an 8 cage. There must be a 1, because the minimum digits, if you don't use a 1, are 2, 3, and 4, and 2, 3, and 4 sum to 9. So there is a 1 in that 8 cage. Is there a 1 in this 13 cage? That's interesting. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Actually, I think there is. There is a 1 in this 13 cage, because 2, 3, 4, and 5 is 14. So there is a 1 down here, and there's a 1 in here, which means I cannot put a 1 in any of those cells, because if there is, or those cells, if there is a 1 in here, and a 1 in here, that is 2 1s that have been allocated to columns 6 and 7, and I cannot have another 1 in those. If I put a 1 here, then the 1 in the 8 cage goes here, and then there's no 1 for the 13 cage. So that's a thing. Do I need a 1 in a 15 cage? No, I don't. Am I looking at this the wrong way? Yes, I am. Probably, maybe. Possibly. Almost certainly. Okay, there's possibly math going on around this box. That might be interesting to look at. There's probably something much more glaring that I'm just completely missing. They might be interesting because those cells sum to 15 plus 8 is 23, plus 13 is 36, plus 9. Those cells sum to 45? Hang on, is that right? 13 plus 8 is 21, plus 15 is 36 plus 9 is 45. The yellow cells sum to 45. Okay, but we know an entire box of a Sudoku contains the digits 1 to 9. And if you add the digits 1 to 9, they sum to 45. So the yellow digits sum to 45 and the green digits sum to 45. So how the heck is that going to work? The yellow digits sum to 45 and the green digits sum to 45. Sorry, no, this is not included in the yellow digits. So if I remove all of those, because this is these digits are included in both the, I'm going to change the green to blue because it'll be easier to see. So the yellow digits sum to 45. This digit is not included. The blue digits sum to 45. But if I subtract that digit, whatever it is, from both yellow and blue, the total is the same. I don't know what it is anymore, but it'll stay the same. If it's a 3, if I subtract 3 from 45, I get 42, and if I subtract 3 from 45, I get 42. The total will stay the same. So I can subtract all of those digits, and now I know that yellow equals blue. But the minimum I can put into these cells is 1 and 2, 1 and 2, which is 6, 7, this is 8 or 9. If these are, and the minimum I can put in these, this is a 1 or a 2, this is a 1 or a 2, and these must have a 1 in it, and be 1, 2, or 3, and these must have a 1 in it and be 1, 2, 3. But, sorry, must have a 1 in it. Must have a, did this wrong. Must have a 1 in it and be, what's going on? Must have a 1 in it and be 1, 2, 3. But don't I do the same in this direction? These, if these were 1 and 2, and these must be 1 and 2 as well, mustn't they? Because if that was a 3, this would be a 3, this would be a 3, and that would have to be a 0. So I can't put a 3 in either of those. So those are 1 and 2. Because I can't put a 3 in either of those for the same reason I can't put a 3 in either of those. This is very strange. But there must be a 1 in one of each in those and a 1 in one of those. Because these are, hang on, doesn't that mean these were 1, 2, and these were 1, 2? Now there's a degree of freedom here. So these could be 3. Because if this is 3 with 1 and 1, that's 5. And then this could be 2, 1 and 1, and that would be 9. But these now have a maximum of 5. So this is at least 4. I'm confused here. But this isn't a 1. Because if this is a 1, there's a 1 up here, and then I'm not putting a 1 in the 13 cage. That's a 2. So this isn't a 2. Now, has that taken my degree of freedom away? Because, has that taken my degree of freedom away? I know there's a 1 in one of those two now, because, no, hang on, do I know that? Do I know that? This is very confusing, because this couldn't be a 1, because then I couldn't put a 1 in one of these. But if this is a... If this is a 1, this would be 2... Hang on, I can't make this 1. So there is a 1 in one of these two. Because if this is a 1, this would be 2 and 3. Yeah, there has to be a 1 in one of those two, because if this is a 1, this would be 2, 3, and that doesn't sum to 8, that sums to 6. So there's no 1 here. So the 1 is in one of these two, which means this is the 1 for the 13 cage. Now these sum to 12. There's no 1 or 2 in this 8 cage, so it's 3, 5. This is nuts, and wow. So these sum to 6 or 7, but the minimum here, yeah, minimum here is 6. Hang on, minimum here is 1, 2, and 1, 2. Because if these were 6, 7, 8, 9, so the minimum here is 6. So I can't put a 3 in any of these anymore once this is a 2. If this is a 2, 2 plus 3 is 6, plus 3... Hang on, 2 plus 3 is 5, plus 3 is 8, plus 1 is 9. This is 1. This is a 1-2 pair. This 1-2 pair means that this has to be a 5 to get to 8. This is a 1-2 pair, so this is a 1 and this is a 2. And this has to be a 6 to get to 9. But this is now a 9, and now the math works. This 1 makes this the 2 and this the 1, and now all of the math works. That is absolutely nuts. Now these have to sum to 12. They have to sum to 12 without using... Now, if I don't use a 2, they'd be 3, 4, and 7, which is way too high. So there's a 2 in here. So there's... Well, there couldn't have been a 2 in this cage anyway, so that's all good. So there is a 1 down here, because where is the 1 in this box? And it's not in one of those. This is the 1 by Sudoku. So these are 3. These have to sum to 12. And they're not 9, 3. So the 3 is in this box. So this has got 1, 2, and 3 in it, which sums to 6. So this is 1, 2, 3, 7, isn't it? This is 1, 2, 3, 7. So 2, 3, and 7 is in here. Now this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, and 8. So, which is 15. That is so cool. Now, these are a known quadruple. Now, a 14 cage without a 1 in it. 2, 3, 4, and 5 is 14. So these are 2, 3, 4, and 5. That's the 2, because I can't put 2 in any of those. Because 2, 3 is 5, 5 is 5, and then I add the 4. So these are 2, 3, 4, 5, which sums to 14. The 2 can't go in any of those, so that's the 2, which takes the 2 out of there and makes that the 2. The 3, 7 now looks down, making that the 5 and that the 3. 1 is in one of those 2. Now this 13 cage can't have a 2 in it. 1, 3, 4, and 5 is 13. Because 4 and 5 plus 1 is 10, and then I add the 3. This is 1, 3, 4, 5. There's no 3 or 5 there. That's the 4. And this is a 3, 5 pair. This is so cool. That opening, by the way, with those digits and the 9, absolute nuts. And then having to realize I had to put a 1 in each of those. Very cool. That now has a minimum digit because it can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So that has to be a 6 or a 7. It can't be an 8 or a 9 because then this couldn't be made. So this either is 3 or 4. If it was 3, it'd be 1, 2. So this can't be a 7. This is a 6. And this is a 1, 3 to make 4. Which means this is not the 1. This is the 1. Now, 2 is up here somewhere. 1? No. Don't think so. 5 is in one of those, but I don't think that's it either. These 2 cells? So these are a minimum of 2 and 6. If I don't put a 6 in this, if I don't put a 2 in this cage, I've got a problem. Because 1, 3, if I don't use 2, 1, 3, 4, 5, this would be 6 and 7, which is already in 13. So there's a 2 in one of those 2 cells. Because I have to put a 2 in this. Oh no, I could put the 2 there. No, if I don't put a 2 in one of those 2 cells, these become 6 and 7, and that blows the total. So there's a 2 in one of those 2 cells. That 2 means it's not there, and that's a 2. Now these have to sum to 9. But the minimum this cell can be now is 6. So, Right, so this is 6, 7, or 8. Now, if this was 7, if this is 8, this is 1 and it can't be. If this is 7, this would be 2 and it can't be. So this is 6 and 3. That makes this the 5 and this the 3. This is now a triple of 7, 8, 9. But there's no 8 there. This is a triple. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. This is 7, 8, 9. There's no 9 there. 5 is in one of those two, but I don't think that's what I'm looking at. This is super nifty. There's no 1 or 2 in this 16 cage because it sees 1s and 2s. 3, 4, and 5. No, that's not a restricted enough. Well, I can't, hang on, what are the minimum of these cells? Because these can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So the minimum here is 6 and 7, which is 13. And I've broken, no, that works. Because the minimum here, because I can't put 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5 into these cells. So the minimum in these cells is 6 and 7, which is 13. But the minimum in this cell is 3, which makes the whole thing, the forced minimums that I could put into this is 16. So this is 6, 7 with 3, which makes that the 7 and that the 3. There's no 7 here. And this now can't be 9, 2. It can't be 8, 3. It could be 7, 4 or 6, 5. So this is 7, 4 or 6, 5. But the important thing about that is that if this is 7, 4, this is 6. And if this is 6, 5, that's 7. So I can't use 6 or 7 anywhere else. And that's not a 7. One is in one of those now because I can't put it in 11 cage or in those. And that one sees there and that one sees there. So that is a 1. I don't know if that's actually done that much for me. Well, let's put 1 in one of those two. Eh? The minimum here is... the minimum here is quite large too, because it can't be these cells can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, or 5. So the minimum here is 6 and 7, which is 13. And the minimum here is 3 or 4, because if I go above 4, so there's 1 degree of freedom from minimum. So the minimum here is 13 plus 3. So this could be 3 or 4. And I can't increase this. I can't make this 7, 8 because then this would need to be a 2. So there is a 6 in here and it's 6, 7 or 6, 8. And if this is 6, 8, this is 3. And if this is 6, 7, this is 4. But there is a 6 in here. So there's a 6 in one of... So where is 6? It's not in here and it's not in here, and that 6 means that's not 6. So this is a 6, which means 6 is in one of those two, but the 6, 7 here means that's not 6 and this is 6. Strangely enough, I can't put 6 in a 12 cage. I'd have to do 6, 6 anyway, and there was 6 looking at it. I'm just making silly jokes here right now because I have no idea what I'm doing. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4, 8, and 9 go into these cells. That doesn't seem to be helping me. 1, 2. This is an 8 or a 9 because it can't be 1. It can't be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 8 or 9. I don't think it's this 11 cage, although this is a quadruple. 4, 6, 8, 9. No. Okay. Okay. Right, this 12 cage is a little bit limited. It can't be 9, 3 because I can't put 9 or 3 into that cell. It can't be 8, 4 because I can't put 8 or 4 into that cell. 7, 5? This is 7.5. It has to be 7.5 because it can't be 9.3. It can't be 8.4. So it has to be 7.5 because 6.6 doesn't work. So this order is known. That's 7 and that's 5. That 7 looks down making that 9, which looks across making that 8, which looks across making that 7. There's no 7 in here. This is 6.8. 6.8 is 14. That becomes a 3. Oh my lord, that is good. These are now 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 2 and 9, which means there's no 9 in either of those. This is 4, 7, 8, so it's 4 or 7, 4, 7, which sums to 11, which means these can't be 4, 7. This is a 5, 6. And the 6 here makes that the 5 and that the 6. This is super. This is now 7 and 6. The 7 looks down making that 4, which makes that 8 and that 7. There's no 8 here. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5s and 9. And the 5 here makes that the 9 and that the 5. This is now a known pair, which is 1 and 2. But I can't put the 2 there. So that's the 2, that's the 1. And these are an 8, 9 pair. So what are these? Hang on, this now has to be 8, 9. So this is the 8, this is the 9, and these are 1, 2, 3, 4, and 7, and the 7 here makes that the 4 and that the 7. This is crazy. This 8 looks over making this 4 and this 8. These, well, the 9 here makes this 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, this is a 7. This column, 1, 2, 3, well, hang on. 8 and 4 are here, so this is the 9, which makes this 8 and this 9. This 3 means this is not 3. This 5 means this is not 5. But these are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 4 and 8. Not there yet, but I'm getting there. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 4 and 9. There's a 4 there, so that's the 9 and that's the 4. These are a pair. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 and 8. Giving me a deadly pattern, but it's going to be resolved by this, because if this is 8, this has to be 3 and it doesn't work. This is 6 and 5, so this is 8. The 8 looks down making this 6 and 8. These are 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 2 and 7, and there's a 7 there. So that's the 2, that's the 7. The 2 looks down making this 9 and 2. This column, actually most of these columns are now complete. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. This is 8, which makes this 4, which makes this 8. This is not 4. But this column, 1, 2, 3, 4, this is 5, which makes this 4, this 3, this 5. The 3 looks across making this 1 and 3. And now I just need to complete this box. 1, 2, 3, I need to put 4, which goes there. 5, 6, I need to put a 7, which has to go there. And then 8, and I stick in a 9. And that is the correct solution to Jade Medallion by Sotek. That is stunning. The break-in, I mean, it was a 20-minute solve, so the actual Sudoku wasn't that bad, but the break-in around needing to use those digits and the fact that they had the same sum as that digit was really cool, and then needing to find that this had to be a 2 because it had to be a 1 or a 2, but if I put a 1 here, then these 13 and 8 cages had to be broken. That was really cool, and I have no idea if that was the only way to do it, but that's the way I found to do it, and that was fun. That was so much fun. Absolutely. Sotek has been such a kind person to the channel since before it started. He was my first patron when I set up a Patreon and has been with me the whole time. And if you wish to join me on Patreon, the link is below, but I will say clearly right now, as a Patreon supporter, you get nothing extra. You do it just to support the channel. Everything that all puzzles and everything like that, I will eventually release for free to the channel. And I have not released anything on Patreon while I've been stressed and really, really busy. I've had nothing extra. I did release over a year ago some puzzles for Patreons as early releases, and every puzzle that wasn't atrocious got released for free to the channel as BremSter unpublished puzzle videos is a normal thing. So there was an unlisted puzzle and still is an unlisted puzzle playlist of extra BremSter puzzles that you can go find on the channel. It's in the playlist section, and over the coming week or so, I'm going to be releasing every puzzle in that playlist, probably just before a normal video drops, as a bonus video. So there'll be 2 videos a day some days over the next couple of weeks, and one of them will be a video that has been in that playlist for probably over a year for some of them. Some of them might be new. Depending on, I've been creating some new puzzles recently, so I might record some of those, and drop them in to that playlist. And I will, when I've got them, I will, rather than releasing them unlisted, I will just drop 2 videos on that day, one a couple of minutes before the normal puzzle video, so that the main thing in the feed will be the new feature for the day. That seems to be the way people think I should do it. But yeah, thank you, Sotek, for being with me the whole time and still sending me amazing puzzles. I really do appreciate it. This was cool fun. Thank you, everyone, for being with me. Whether you've just been a viewer, if you're not a subscriber, please do like videos, comment with what you like, what you don't like. We can always improve. And yeah, as always, good luck with your solving.